times when we would come up here and the Warren Western Reserve Raiders were top in the state, and we'd end up knocking them off. And you mentioned on the way up here today that the Warren paper even mentions that don't count out the Raiders, because they gave them the example of the Fitch Falcons when they came in here and beat the Raiders when the Raiders were high in the rankings. So that was the big problem for the coaching staff this year. Obviously, they also have another problem, and the problem is the Raiders' defense. They're a little worried about the Raiders' defense, because their comments are that the Raiders' defense is set up to stop the double wing. And if you all know that we do run a double wing, and that's going to cause a problem for us. Hopefully they have solved the problem, and we'll see whether they have tonight. The Raiders also have some very fine backfield. Their line is comparable to our line. This is the first time, I believe, that we have not been outweighed on the line, but they are a big line. But it's more importantly their backfield. They're very fast, very quick. Tony Ford at the tailback is 5'10", 160 pounds, so he's a tall young man, and he's very speedy. And their fullback, Daryl Dukes, at 5'10", 165, is an excellent blocker as well as a runner. And each one of these boys, like the fellows from Massillon and like Cardinal Mooney's halfbacks, can break it open at any time. And the Falcons, the one thing the Falcons don't want to do is give them that big play.
Last week, Coach Hartman, in his talks after the big victory over Cardinal Mooney, said that he stressed to the team all week, the one thing you cannot do is give up the big play. And I think it took us, John, about less than a minute before Cardinal Mooney struck from 75 yards out on the touchdown pass. But the impressive thing about the Falcons' performance last week was they did give up the big play. They got down on the scoreboard early, but the Falcons denied Mooney the rest of the half and then really took over in the second half. And Fitch has shown the ability to dominate the second half, and that can be very important in a game like this tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Randy. And what we did last week, we played that controlled type defense. You know, Mr. Coleman did manage to pick up 125 or 130 yards, but he also ran the football quite often. But they did manage to keep him, you know, to, well, probably maybe 10 or 12 yards being his biggest gain. And, of course, this is what we've got to do tonight. And what we have to be ready for tonight or be prepared for is, you know, a lot of unorthodox things, because, as I think both you and Ken pointed out, you know, reserve probably is expected to lose this football game. So really they have nothing to lose. So they're going to do a lot of things, especially defensively, you know, to cause some havoc with our double wing that we might not, you know, I hope we're prepared for, but what we might not expect. So again, it's going to be a real interesting ball game, and hopefully we can get on the board quick.
Special teams can always play an important role in the outcome of a football game. The reserve game last year showed just how important that is. The Falcons dropped a contest to Warren Western Reserve last year by a score of 13-12, and all 13 of the points that Warren Western Reserve put on the board came courtesy of two blocked punts that defeated the Falcons. So that is a concern, but also the tremendous speed that Reserve can put on the field as far as kickoff and punt returns is something that the Falcons have to worry about. But having faced Cardinal Mooney with the speed they have in the backfield, it certainly isn't as if this is the first time we are going to come out against a team with a lot of speed. We will be getting to that very shortly. Right now, we will go down to the field for the playing of our national anthem by the Warren Western Reserve Raider Marching Band. Ken, there was something we talked about before the game when we were over at the stadium for the send-off this afternoon that we wanted to let all of the fans know about in advance. It's sort of becoming a tradition now. It'd be something we would like to see carry on all the time. And that is that there are a lot of fans that are gathering at the stadium before the team leaves, and to give them a send-off. The Little Falcons are involved, and the other youth football programs in the area, and a lot of fans. And I'm sure next week there's going to be a send-off at Falcon Stadium before the Falcons leave to go over to Canton-McKinley. And I think it'd be a nice community tradition to develop to make that a standard feature. And I know that we'd like to see a lot of people over at Falcon Stadium next week. I'm sure you can call the school later in the week to find out what time the send-off will be. But that's a nice touch. It really brings everyone together. You stand around and talk, and it's really nice community thing.
And also, Coach Harbin and the other members of the coaching staff have indicated to us that they are so absolutely pleased with the following that the Falcons are getting, and the encouragement, and that tangible, that little intangible thing helps the team just get up and stay up all the way through a game. And Randy's correct. We have had 2 send-offs. We had one for the Cardinal Mooney game, and we had a send-off today for the boys. The thing to those of you who would like to come, and we'd like to see you all there with some banners and posters and what have you. If you'll call the school or watch the channel, we'll make sure we find out what time the boys are leaving and what time the send-off is going to be there. Win, lose, or draw today, we expect to see a lot of you out there at the Fitch Stadium to watch the boys board the bus on their way to Canton next week.
It'll also be nice to see a lot of Falcon fans over at Fawcett Stadium. The Canton-McKinley people have sent a lot of tickets over. They'll be sold early in the week, probably by the time this is on the air. But a big following to Canton, just like the big following that we have here tonight in Warren, is certainly an important factor. The Falcons will be kicking off to start tonight's game. Chris Bernai will kick off. The Raiders will defend, or will be receiving. As we get underway in week number 8, as I mentioned, the Falcons coming into this game are ranked number 6 in the state in AAA by the UPI, which is a coaches poll. And by the Associated Press, they are ranked 8th. And, of course, the number 1 team in the state, Canton-McKinley, in both polls, was knocked off last night by Youngstown South. Also losing was North Canton Hoover. They were ranked 2nd in the AP poll and, I believe, 3rd in the UPI poll. And, of course, the most important part is the Falcons are number 1 in their computer region with win over Mooney last week. They moved ahead of Canton-McKinley, and that is what counts to get into the playoffs. We're just about set, and here is the opening kickoff. The kickoff is a low kick. It hits at the 15-yard line, taken right there. Trying to get to the outside and driven out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Don Hauser, the sophomore linebacker for the Falcons, drove the reserve ball carrier out of bounds after a turn from his 15 out to the 28-yard line.
I'm glad that's over with. As you pointed out, Randy, we can pretty much control their speed in most cases at the line of scrimmage. But, boy, you give them an opportunity to run a punt back or a kickoff or even an interception, and you get all that speed out in the open field, you're asking for trouble.
Bobby Allen is the reserve quarterback, a good team leader. He likes to run the option a lot. Fumble on the first play, and we'll have to separate it, and the Falcons recover. Donnie Jones comes up with the fumble recovery for the Falcons. That's number 6 or 7 on the season, and boy, I'll tell you, ball hits the turf, and Donnie Jones is like glue.
Donnie on the spot.
What do you call the huddle in a rugby game? That's what that is like.
A scrum.
They all jumped on the ball. All of a sudden, the ball came rolling out right into Donnie Jones's hands.
First big turnover of the night. The Falcons take over 1st and 10 at the Warren Western Reserve 28-yard line. They came up to the line, but I think Reserve called timeout to try and get things together.
Randy, I was given a note here. I will assume that it is correct, and it says that Leo Hawkins needs 39 yards to become the 2nd all-time rusher for Fitch High, and he needs 316 yards to surpass Brian Frost's record for seniors in their rushing. He also needs 7 touchdowns to have more touchdowns or more points scored than Bob Roth, who was a superpower here at Fitch High School.
Yeah, Leo has, I believe, 762 yards on the season through 7 games. He's 2 yards behind Dave Coleman of Mooney in the Steel Valley rushing race. Leo is averaging 5.7 yards per carry, and he has scored 12 touchdowns. He's averaging 108.9 yards per game on the ground. Eric Luckey's the quarterback with Fred Smith and Leo Hawkins in the backfield. Rich Morrow is the wingback, and Ron Strollo is the tight end. First play, Leo Hawkins. He is hit as he gets down close to the 25-yard line. Good speed coming up, number 14 for Warren Western Reserve. Sean Matlock, the free safety, came up to make the play for the Raiders. Leo gains 3.
And as you noticed there, guys, the unorthodox defense that I pointed out that we might see, and there we've seen the nose man was in an up position, a 2-point stance, and they had a linebacker stacked right behind him. So they're going to be running a lot of deals in there, again, trying to cause a lot of confusion with our interior people especially.
The scoreboard initially said we had first down at the 28. It was not. Hawkins on the carry, on second down, gets down to the 25, and a penalty flag comes flying in, and we will have to see what it is. It could very well be a face mask. It's against the Falcons. Clipping against Fitch.
Are we at YSU Stadium?
Well, I'm not saying anything.
Far be it from me or John to say anything, Ken. I think you're just trying to instigate and get us in trouble again.
As far as I'm concerned, there's just 2 football teams playing out there, guys, and they're out there all by themselves.
Well, the penalty is marked off. It takes it back to almost the 40-yard line of Warren Western Reserve. Falcons on this drive, after Donnie Jones recovered the fumble on the first offensive play of the game. It will now be second down and 19. Let's see. What are they going to call it? Second down and...
I don't know, Randy, but we were in that situation about 5 times last week in one drive, so we're prepared, I think.
Well, we like these 150-yard drives to cover 30 to get a touchdown. Luckey's to run on first down. He crosses the 40, 45, and he is knocked out of bounds. 35-yard line. He crossed at the... He'll get back to just about the original line of scrimmage. That will set up a 3rd down and 10 play.
That time, John, they had a 7-man line against us. Now they brought both of the linebackers up, and they all went down in a down position.
And one thing, that as we said, they're unorthodox or gambling-type defenses, and usually in the end, those things usually catch up with you. If you're not playing a real sound, basic defense, you're in trouble.
3rd and 10. Luckey's rolling out, and he's going to be smothered back at the 40-yard line. The blitz came through, and Luckey was dropped for a big loss of almost 10 yards on the play, and it will be 4th and a mile for the Falcons, and they will have to punt.
And I think if you see us in the same situation again, guys, we're not going to be throwing the ball. As you notice there, they brought everybody and their brother. And you'll probably see something like a little trap up the middle or one of our, bread and butter plays, because they're just going to come after us with everybody.
Luckey, I'm sorry, they came in with everyone that time. They didn't go for the fake at all towards the line, and they actually beat him.
High snap, but Luckey gets the punt off. It is floating down inside the 10, taken at the 6-yard line. Bobby Allen gets by the first wave of tacklers, but he is dropped as he crosses the 15-yard line. Bobby Allen, the quarterback, is also the punt returner. And Reserve will start with bad field position. This time their drive will start at, I believe, the 16, maybe the 17-yard line. The Falcons were not able to capitalize on the turnover, but they do move Warren Western Reserve back with bad field position as this drive starts.
And what we've got to do is avoid those mistakes, Randy. There are penalties which are going to occur and happen, are going to be called, and we've got to try to avoid that as much as possible tonight and try and play air-free football.
8 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in the first quarter. No score. Warren Reserve starting at their 16-yard line. Handoff goes to number 20, Tony Ford. Ford is hit as he gets the 20-yard line, gain of 4 yards on the first down play. The Warren Western Reserve backfield, Tony Ford, number 20, is the tailback. Number 38, Daryl Dukes, is the fullback. Bob Allen, number 32, the quarterback. The flankers alternate at number 16, Charles Smith, and number 14, Sean Matlock. Number 14 now, Sean Matlock, their leading receiver, is the flanker. We have second down, 7 yards to go. The ball is at the 20-yard line. The pitch goes to number 20, Tony Ford. Ford is hit as he crosses the 20-yard line. Chris Bernay, Mike Starry, and number 25, Bill Davis, make the play for the Falcons. Set the Fitch defense for you. The front three, Bill Davis, the nose man, Tom Buck and Bill Rowland are the tackles. The outside backers, Ron Strollo and Dan Sorego. The inside backers, Donnie Jones and Chris Bernay. The defensive secondary, Ted Sorego, strong safety. Eric Luckage is the corner. Mike Starr is defensive halfback, and Rich Morrow is the free safety for the Falcon defense. Third down, 4 yards to go. The ball is at the reserve 23-yard line with 7.5 to go in the first quarter. Handoff in, fake. Bobby Allen keeps it. He did a nice job of faking to the fullback, and he's still going. Great run by Bobby Allen. It looked like he was going to be driven out of bounds at about the 35-yard line, but he was able to keep going, and a big gain for Warren Western Reserve all the way down in Falcon territory. They'll mark it at the Fitch 35-yard line.
And I think we had a breakdown there defensively, because usually, normally, you have a man responsible for the fullback and another one on the quarterback and then one on the pitchman. But there, it looked like we had 2 or 3 people that committed to the fullback, and that left the pitchman and the quarterback free to, carry on the option, right on down the field. And they had obviously picked up a nice gain there.
40-some yards, 45, I think, for the first down for Warren Western Reserve. They're in Fitch territory. Pitch goes to number 42. In at fullback for the Raiders is Marlon Williamson. Williamson gets down to the 31-yard line. It will be a gain of 4 yards on first down.
And we let them out of the hole again, guys. And, that was what we needed. One more decent football play there and force them to punt so we get good field position. Now, of course, the tables have been turned, and, we got our backs to the wall, and we got to dig in here.
Second down, 6 for the Raiders. They have 2 wide receivers out. They are at the Fitch 31-yard line, threatening in the first quarter. Allen looking to throw on second down. He has a receiver, but he overthrows him. The pass was intended to number 23, Rod Dantzler. It was overthrown. Chris Bernay and Ted... Let's see, who was that? Ted Sorego. Right. Ted Sorego was out on the coverage for the Falcons. It will be third down and 6.
Shame Mr. Allen was a little more accurate there, because if he'd have thrown that ball where he should have thrown it, we'd have had 6, I think, because we were in excellent defensive position there. And if the ball's down a little bit there, we catch that one, and we're off and running down the sideline.
Madlock was going over the middle deeper, and he was open also.
Third down and 6, Raiders at the Fitch 31-yard line. 6:42 to go in the first quarter. No score in the game. Allen looking to pass, under pressure, throws, and it's complete inside the Fitch 20. Number 23, Rod Dantzler, comes up with the reception, and Reserve converts another first down, and they are inside the Fitch 20.
And Allen showed a lot of poise there, because we had pretty good pressure on him, and he was still able to pick out which looked like his secondary receiver there, and nice completion.
He had to hear Rich Morrow's feet coming behind him, and as soon as he caught the ball, Rich Morrow put him on the ground. But now the Raiders are in great field position.
We talked about the Falcons not wanting to let the Raiders get on the board early, and Reserve is threatening here in the first quarter. Allen throwing, he hits Tony Ford at the 18. He is inside the Fitch 15-yard line. Ford came in motion. Allen hit him with the pass. Pretty good tackling by the Falcons. The gain on the play is 4 yards. It is at the Fitch 14-yard line. Second down, 6 yards to go for the Raiders. Allen has had plenty of time, and he has done a pretty good job throwing the ball. The last 2 passes have been complete, and they are putting pressure on the Fitch defense early in this contest, which has pretty much taken the Fitch crowd out of the action. They are very quiet right now, hoping their defense can hold. 5:30 to go. Handoff went inside on the play. Not much yardage there. Good job by the inside people for the Falcons. Donnie Jones coming up. Eric McMahon in the ball game at linebacker also on the play with Chris Bernay. The gain was only 1. Good job inside by the Falcon defense.
Right, Randy, and I think what we have to look for here is what we've seen 2 plays ago, and probably what we'll see quite often during the night. They're going to just throw the ball out in the flat there, I think, as much as possible, and try and get those quick backs that they have out there where they can get some running room. I doubt whether they're going to be able to do too much inside on us.
Big play, 3rd and 6 at the Fitch 14. The Raiders converted on the last 3rd and 6. Allen rolling out, looking, throwing his pass to the outside. His receiver made his move inside, and I think there was just some confusion on the part of the quarterback and receiver that time. Number 23, Rod Dantzler, who came up with the reception on the last 3rd down play, that time cut it back into the middle, and it looked like the quarterback was looking for a sideline route.
Right, he looked like he was probably supposed to turn out or maybe run a curl and sideline, and he just did just the opposite, and fortunately for us, you know, they did have a little lack of communication there.
4th and 6 now for the Raiders. They are going to go for it, of course. Checking into the ball game is their best receiver, Sean Matlock. He will go out wide to the left. Big play for the Fitch defense. 4th and 6 at the Fitch 14-yard line. Allen fakes the handoff, pump. Oh, he tried to fire it over the middle. It was almost intercepted, but it doesn't matter. Donnie Jones knocked the pass down, and the Fitch defense holds, and the Falcon fans love it.
Good play again by Donnie. I think Donnie just got a little bit too excited there because he, you know, did, and of course I guess the ball was only thrown about 5 or 6 yards and a little bit hard, but boy, if he'd have just relaxed and caught that one, you know, we may have had 6 there. He had the whole sideline.
That receiver is about 2 feet taller than Donnie Jones.
1st and 10 Fitch at their own 14-yard line, their second possession of the night. Eric Luckage calling signals. Handoff goes to Hawkins. He's across the 15, the 20, on his feet out to the 25. Nice run by Leo Hawkins as the Falcons come out of the hole and pick up a 1st down on the first play.
I know everybody wants to watch the football, but, you know, every once in a while, look at the defense there, and you can see what we're talking about. You notice the one linebacker, they're jumping, you know, from one gap to another. And, you know, again, it's probably because they feel that maybe they can't sit in there in a basic defense and stop us. So they're going to gamble a lot. And, you know, with that, you know, what happens usually is you're going to catch them in the wrong gap or the wrong hole, and we're going to break a long one here real quick.
1st and 10 Falcons, ball to 26, and the Fitch offense jumped just a little bit early.
A little bit.
It was the left side of the line, Ron Strollo, and I'm sure we were going to go on a quick count, but you'd have to be real quick to catch that one.
And, of course, that's what we're trying to do now. See, if they're going to jump around and move around like that a lot, we're going to try and go on a quick count and run some real basic plays where you just seal people off and maybe kick somebody out and, you know, go right at them because they got to be out of position quite often. And, you know, this can only last for so long, and they're going to get burnt.
Procedure call against the Falcons. Makes it 1st and 15 at the 21. Rich Turner in the ballgame at split end for the Falcons. Handoff again to Hawkins. He crosses the 20, across the 25, out to the 30, still on his feet, finally driven out of bounds. Great leg drive by Leo Hawkins. He just did not want to go down. It took 5 Raiders to finally drive him out of bounds. And things are getting a little tangled up on the sidelines, and if you're from reserve, you don't want to pick a fight on the other guy's side of the field. Wait till you get him on your side, right?
Right. And Leo, again, is running with some authority, guys. He's not trying to feel his way. He's making 1 move or 2 moves, you know, either inside or out, and he's just headed right for the goal line. And the last 3 or 4 ball games, he's been much more successful, I think, than he was early in the year and against some pretty good football teams, too.
12-yard gain makes it 2nd down 3 for the Falcons. They're at their own 33-yard line. There's going to be another penalty against the Falcons. Leo moved a little bit early, and the Fitch offense, in its effort to get off on the quick count and try and mess up the Raider defense, has really caused themselves more problems. I think the guys are just so anxious and anticipating the quick count that their timing just isn't quite what it should be.
And something isn't quite right because Coach Hartman, again, is after the officials, and I don't know, there's looks like the defense, I think, sometimes is almost getting into the neutral zone. They're jumping all over the place. And
if we could get our cameraman to go on Eric Luckage, number 30, he's wearing some sort of protective belt. It's
something like a flak jacket.
A flak jacket, but it isn't. It's a belt.
Hawkins again, the ball carrier, and he will be hit hard as he gets up to the 30-yard line. The gain will be 2 yards on the play, and it will bring up a 3rd down and about 6 yards to go for the Falcons. Reserve 30. Once again, penalties are the major problem. Falcons have been hit twice in this drive with procedure calls, which has slowed things up. Hawkins has done a good job running the ball. But the Falcon offense has been pretty much shooting itself in the foot with penalties so far in this game.
The last third down play for us, they came in with everyone. Maybe let's see if they do it again.
3rd and 6. Ball at the 30-yard line. We have 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Luckage looking to throw. Fires over the middle, and it's incomplete. The pass was overthrown. Ted Sorego was the intended receiver. Covering for the Raiders was number 18, Richard Page, and the Falcons once again will have to punt.
And that's exactly what we've got to be able to do here as we progress here in the ball game, is just those short routes, just those little curls and hooks, because again they had that time again about at least 8 or 9 people up on the line of scrimmage, and you're going to have to get rid of it quick. And I think, you know, as we go along here, we'll be able to complete that particular pass there.
4th and 6. Luckage back to punt. Gets off another high kick. Bobby Allen takes it at his 35-yard line. Still on his feet. Knocked down finally back at the 32, 33-yard line. Rich Turner, Eric McMahon, and Don Jones all on the coverage for the Falcons.
Excellent punt, too. Eric got it high and gave us time to get down there and cover, and that's what we got to do in those punting situations especially. Give people time to get down there so we can handle most of their speed.
This will give the Raiders first down it's just across the 32, call it the 33-yard line. This is their 3rd possession. The last time they got down to the Fitch 14, and the Falcons stopped them on 4th down. 2 minutes, 50 seconds to go. First quarter, no score yet. Allen rolling to his left. McMahon chasing him. He's knocked down. Allen across the 40-yard line. Good play by Allen as he rolled out to the left. He was able to get by the initial man. Eric McMahon, the outside linebacker, was taken out with a good block, and the Raiders will come up with first down on the first play. And obviously the Raiders' strategy is to go wide on the Fitch defense and try and take advantage of their speed, especially the speed of their quarterback.
Right, and there's the only thing, again, I hate to get on the officiating again, but, you know, I don't know what the difference is there, and, you know, hitting below the waist or a crackback. He hit him clear down in the thigh.
Block if I ever saw one.
And, I mean, that just, maybe I'm not totally aware of, you know, the exact interpretation of that rule, but
you're only allowed to do that within the perimeter of
tackle to tackle, and that was outside then. 1st and 10 Raiders, 43-yard line, 2:12 to go. Allen rolling to this side. He is hit finally. Nice big hit on the play. Chris Burneye came up from the inside linebacker spot. Mike Starry slowed Allen down, and Chris Burneye buried him. And there's a loss on the play. It will be 2nd down and 11 or 12 for the Raiders.
Once again, our cornerbacks are sacrificing their lives going into that student body right and student body left. Mike Starry went flying into the blocking, the 3 or 4 boys in the front of him.
I tell you what, I thought Mr. Allen sacrificed his life there. I think he's going to call somebody else's number this time because he didn't get up too quickly.
Well, I think he has a little bit of a red 53 all over that gold 32 right now. 2nd and 11. Penalty flags fly, delay of game against the Raiders. The play was a little late coming in, and Bobby Allen didn't get his club up to the line and get the play off, and that will cost the Raiders 5 more. Momentum is always a big factor. Reserve turned the ball over to us, and we couldn't convert, and that pumped the Raiders up a little bit. Then they came up with the big drive, and I think most of the momentum in this first quarter has gone the way of the Warren Western Reserve Raiders, and that's when you're an underdog playing a team you're not supposed to be able to beat. It just gives you more and more confidence the longer you can stay in the ball game. But this drive, there's problems for the Raiders as they are going backwards, so far at least. Allen looking to pass, and he's going to be hit. Good penetration by the Falcons. Trying to get the numbers. I know Eric McMahon was back there, Ron Strollo, and Cooper. I think it was Dave Cooper that made the big play coming in from the defensive tackle slot, and the sack, and the Raiders go back even farther. It is 3rd down. The ball is at the 31-yard line of Warren Western Reserve. They need to get to the Fitch 46, 47-yard line to pick up the first down. It is 3rd down, 22 yards to go for Warren Western Reserve as time is running down in the first quarter. 40 seconds left to go. Allen rolling out. Being chased, Donnie Jones. Great play. Allen was rolling out to his left. Donnie got him with one hand on the jersey and just threw him to the ground. That's incredible strength.
Great football play there because, again, you know, had him one-on-one, and Allen's got some pretty good speed. Donnie managed to get a hold of his jersey and hung on for dear life, and then
that type of tackling
for a loss.
That type of tackling is going to become the Donnie Jones tackle. He does that quite often. Once he gets your hands on you, you're done.
4th and 27 now for the Raiders as time is going to expire here in the first quarter. 2-1, and that is the end of the first quarter of play. We have played one at Mollenkoff Stadium. There is no score. Austintown Fitch nothing, Warren Western Reserve nothing.
And really not a bad quarter of football. You know, when you look back on it, really a key play in that first quarter was that penalty. You know, we had managed to come up with a big turnover. We come up with a big football play. We have the ball down around their 20-yard line or inside, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves back on the 40. We just couldn't get it going again, but we did manage, again, maybe give a little bit of ground defensively, but we hung in there. We stuck with them, and now, of course, if we can get some decent field position here, I think we can put some points on the board in this drive.
The momentum that we talked about is gradually shifting over. The Fitch defense came up with a tremendous series there against Warren Western Reserve. They went backwards 17 yards in 3 plays. The ball is back at their 24-yard line right now. Leo Hawkins will receive the punt for the Falcons. He is at his own 38-yard line, so you figure the Falcons should come up with pretty good field position off this punt. Bobby Allen, of course, is the quarterback, so you always have to be on the alert to see whether they really punt the ball. Falcons have most of their people up. We'll see if they're going to go for the block. And they don't get it. It's going to be a short, wobbly kick. It's going to bounce at the 47-yard line of reserve into Fitch territory. He gets a little bit of a roll, and it will be whistled dead at about the Fitch 43-yard line. So the Falcons come up with pretty good field position. Great job by the Fitch defense.
And as we pointed out, the Raiders really haven't stopped us defensively. The penalties have killed us. Even on that last drive there, we had something going, and all of a sudden we had 2 more penalties. And when it looked like we had another first down or 2, we ended up, in a long yardage situation. So if we can eliminate the penalties in this drive, we might be able to put some points on the board.
See if the Fitch offense can feed off the momentum built up by the defense. First down play goes inside to the fullback, and there's nothing there. Fred Smith was the ball carrier, but the middle did not open up. Number 53, the noseman for the Raiders, made the stop, Casey Jordan, but there is a penalty flag on the play, holding against the Falcons. Well,
I'm not going to say it. We know that when you play teams and you're the cock of the walk at the time, that you have to beat everyone. But once again, we're starting to play this game with the penalties, and they're not letting the teams play. And obviously, we always know that at any play you could probably throw a flag, but it's getting a little bit weighted too much in our direction again.
Well. First down and 20 yards to go. And it's 11:15 left to go in the first half. Hawkins, the ball carrier. He's across the play by Gordy. He's got a man to beat. Leo Hawkins takes it from the 33-yard line, almost all the way.
And again, it's just hard to believe how, we could be put in some precarious situations, and just these guys just keep coming back and coming back and coming back.
Hawkins carried it all the way inside the 10-yard line of Warren West Reserve. They're going to mark it just inside the 5. It will be first and goal for the Falcons.
I think Leo broke some records with that run, guys.
I think that did it.
62 yards on the carry for Leo Hawkins. He should be up, I would think, with the carries he's had previously, he's got to be up around the 80-yard mark already. First and goal Falcons at the Warren West Reserve 5-yard line. 11:02 to go, first half. Hawkins, 5-3, touchdown!
Leo had a nice hole at the point of attack, but managed to take about 2 or 3 of the Raiders the last 2 or 3 yards with him. And
great,
an excellent job.
Great strength and determination on the part of Leo Hawkins. He was hit at about the 3 by 2 Raiders and just carried them into the end zone. And the Falcons break out on the scoreboard first. 6-0. Chris Burneye in to attempt the point after. Teddy Sorrego to hold. The kick is up, and it's good. with 10 minutes, 59 seconds left to go. First half, Austintown Fitch 7, Warren Western Reserve nothing.
Well, John, I'll be the one to say it. You said it was going to happen.
Guys, a penalty flag just went down.
No, what's happening, too, is, again, they're probably seeing some defenses that they're not used to seeing, and all that jumping around, and, there's been 8, 9 men up on the line of scrimmage. They're probably getting things pretty well under control now. They're figuring out, where these people are going to be at, and we're running, again, just some basic things up there, nothing real fancy, and, we're just controlling a line of scrimmage now.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Warren Western Reserve. When the Falcons were celebrating, some of the Raiders came over and had a few words to say to the Falcons, and that one was right in front of the official and cost them 15. Instead of kicking off from the 40, the Falcons will kick off at the reserve 45-yard line. John, here you're a coach. You've got a kicker that, from his own 40 puts the ball right down near the goal line every time. Is it worth gambling on an onside kick here?
I don't know, Randy. The way we're playing defense, I think I'd kick it in the end zone. And again, let them start from the 20 because, if we can hold them for 3 downs, let them punt, we're going to get the ball again in midfield. And of course, there's always that option. You think if you can squib it down in there around the 20, inside the 20 there, you may have a chance of coming up with it. But I still don't want to give those 2 little running backs if there's an opportunity to pick that ball up and, run with it out here in the open field.
It is the onside kick attempt. It's free, and the Falcons, I think, come up with it. There's a fight going on. It bounced off the first Raider. I thought the Falcons got it, but the momentum of the Fitch player may have knocked the ball back to reserve, and the reserve does come up with it.
And again, we should have had that, but see, the point I was trying to make is where they have the football at now. See, they have the football at the 35 instead of maybe the 20. Of course, we come up with it, and we've got the ball on their 35, but now we give them, decent field position. But again, I'm not criticizing Coach Hartman because it was almost a well-executed play.
The ball was kicked beautifully. It bounced off the player, but it went too far. It went in the legs of our man coming downfield.
Doug Wilhelm was the man that kicked it. First down play, and he's buried in the backfield. Then there's a fumble. I think reserve fell on top of it. But Tony Ford, the reserve running back, took the handoff as he took a Fitch player, I think in the same motion, and the reserve dodged a bullet right there because I'm not sure who that was. I think it was one of the linebackers. It may have been Tony Jones or Chris Burneye. Was in the backfield right along with the ball carrier. The point of attack was the point where the linebacker hit him, and there's a loss of 2. Second down and 12 yards to go. Reserve at their own 32-yard line. Ford again going in motion. Fake the handoff, and the pass is complete. He's got it across the 30, and he will be driven backwards. Ted Sorego, Donnie Jones, and Cooper, I think, all out there covering. That was almost 6. That pass came out, and it was just a split second away from being a Fitch touchdown.
Mike Starry just waited. You could see him waiting for that pass. Then he realized as he was going in to try to intercept it, that it was going to be a lot higher than he thought it was, and he tried to grab onto the player.
Mike Starry's had some close calls in the last 2 weeks going for interceptions.
And our defense is very aggressive tonight and pursuing well, so we can take some risk like that because we're getting people to the football.
3rd and 10 now for the Raiders at their own 34-yard line. Number 42, fumble. Mike Starry is running it back. He took it at the 37-yard line. He returns it inside the 30, and the Falcons come up with great field position on their second turnover of the night.
Somebody was going to dive on the ball, and you could hear Mike. You just see Mike Starry was saying, "Don't dive on it. Let me pick it up."
And somebody again, guys, and I hate to keep harping on the fit, but there was another crackback block there right on the line of scrimmage that wasn't called, and it's fortunately there. We come up with the football. And somebody is not getting hurt, but
that's the worst part of it. It's not just so much the fact that it's not being called, but the reason that is a penalty is because it's so physically dangerous. Now, the Falcons are in their explode lineup. They line up with 5 men in the backfield, and then they all go out to different positions to try and take the advantage away from the defense. Hawkins carries the ball from the 29 inside the 25. He'll gain about 5 on the play, and it should be second and about 4 yards to go for the Falcons. John, that's an interesting strategy. When the defense is doing all those things, if you come out and and you deny them the opportunity to be the one with all the shifting. It has to take something away from their strategy.
Right, Randy, because their defense is dictated by, where our formation is. And if you come out like that, it causes some confusion.
Luckage going to carry, and he is dropped. Number 58 for the Raiders is Garcelle Moss, that comes up from the tackle position, and he drops Luckage for a loss on the play. Eric was trying to roll a lot like he did against Cardinal Mooney, but the penetration of the reserve defense really took that play away before he got a chance.
And we put our formation into the wide side, hoping that, again, they might roll or rotate that way and then come back with play action. We've been running at them. We ran some play action to the wide side, but, they did do an excellent job over here to the short side of the field defensively, and we didn't get an opportunity to get the pass off.
I think that's exactly it. I think Eric was at that point ready to pass, and our boys got a little tied up on the left-hand side. Rich Morrow could not get across fast enough. And
again, the Falcons shifting at the last minute. Steve Iacobucci in the ball game at split end. Pitch goes to Hawkins. He slips, retains his balance, but he'll only get to the 25, and it will be 4th and 6 or 7 to go for the Falcons. They're going to mark the ball just outside the reserve 25-yard line, and the Falcons are going to take timeout to decide whether to try the field goal or to go for it on 4th down. Falcons lead 7-0 here with 7:26 to go in the first half.
And look for more of that. We're going to come out like that because, again, you can see right now, it's almost like a Chinese fire drill over there, on the defensive side of the football. And, it's going to cause a lot of confusion. And, of course, I think as you go along, we're going to try to go on quicker counts. We had a little bit of a problem with that earlier, but we'll probably try and go on a quick count to try to not give them the opportunity to get set defensively.
Coach Hartman is on the field talking to his offense, and Coach Hartman has had a miserable week. He's fighting a cold, the flu, and everything else. And when you're in the midst of the season like we are, you just can't slow down. So,
well, John, you could talk about this. The coaches during football season don't see their families very much, do they?
No, very seldom, Ken. And I don't think the average person realizes how much time a football coach puts in. Not only during the season but the off season. Saturday mornings you're out there about 8 o'clock and you're trying to watch the film before the kids come in at 10, so that you can prepare some comments for the kids at your position. You stay there until about 3 or 4. You come back Sunday morning and spend the whole day, and then, of course, come back Monday ready to go again.
Not to mention the fact that you're there at the school till 9 or 10 every night. 4th and 7. Morrow on the reverse. He will be short of the first down. He needed to get inside the 20, and he is dropped at the 21 or 22-yard line. That's the first time we've run the counter to the wingback, and it gets pretty good yardage, but not enough for the first down. So it will be 1st and 10 reserve.
Let me put a little plug in, too. We're talking about the coaches. Keep in mind that our head coach and many of our assistant coaches are teachers. And by the way, they're excellent teachers. So they have their other teaching duties, preparing lesson plans and correcting math papers and what have you also, along with the duties they have as coaches.
Also keeps the size of the families down, guys.
Coach Hartman's wife is sitting right in front of us, and this is probably the longest she gets to see her husband all week is when she sees him on the field. 1st and 10, Warren Western Reserve at their own 22-yard line. Allen rolling on 1st down, firing. He's got his receiver, and it's knocked loose. Ted Sorrego put a hit on number 81 from Warren Western Reserve, the tight end, Mike Baugh, and he separated him from the ball. John, the Fitch secondary really puts a tag on people when they catch a football.
Yeah, we're hitting people, and that's really the way to play defense. We're getting pressure from the people out front, and we're getting good coverage in the secondary, and the people that are in the coverage are they're tattooing some people, and you're going to see probably a few more balls dropped simply because of the way they're hitting people out there.
2nd and 10 now for the Raiders. 6:52 left, first half. 7-0 Fitch. 2nd and 10 at the 22. Pitch goes to Tony Ford, trying to get outside. He's across the 20. He slips. There's a penalty flag down. And it's going to be against. They finally called it. Called the play.
And I was just going to comment on that. That's the 3rd time because they actually set up a double team, and one guy hit the kid down to one of our outside people around the knees, and the other kid hit him up top. And the guy on the end, one of the linesmen, I guess you call him there, is supposed to be making that call, but the guy, the back judge, who was 20 yards downfield, seen it and had to make the call. See, and this is what
I knew if we hollered loud enough that sooner or later they'd hear us, John. At YSU, the problem was we were enclosed and they couldn't hear us on the field. Now we've got an open window and we'll be able to take care of things.
Unfortunately, somebody was on the ball there, but the gentleman that's responsible for that, I don't know whether he's got a blindfold on or...
No, I think it's something about hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil. I don't know. Second down, 20. Pop pass over the middle, intended to 23, Rod Dantzler. It's incomplete. Rich Morrow and Rich Turner are combining on the coverage for the Falcons. They tried to hit the quick pass, and it was thrown incomplete.
And if he would have caught that, he would have been tattooed also.
And we're getting, it's amazing. We're getting people to football every time. We're getting, the pressure up front, and these guys in the secondary are just, especially tonight, just playing a whale of a ball game up to this point.
We took some of the linemen out. Cooper and Davis came out along with McMahon and put extra defensive backs in the game. Rich Turner and Steve Yakovich. Let's see, that's Dan Sorego coming in. Sweep coming to the right side. He will be hit and driven out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Reserve had a lot of people out in front, and they pick up about 8-9 yards, but it's not going to be nearly enough, and there's another altercation on the sidelines, and these reserve players keep deciding to get into trouble on the Fitch sidelines.
And I think that's going to work in our favor, guys, as this game goes along, because it seems like the Raiders there are, devoting too much of their attention to, maybe fisticuffs and a little extracurricular activity instead of playing ball, and it's going to cost them maybe hopefully a costly penalty and some yardage here.
No doubt the Raiders have been relying on emotion to try and stay with the Falcons, and as things start to turn in the Falcons' favor, it's turning into frustration instead of enthusiasm for reserve. 4th and 12 now. Allen gets the kick away to Freddie Smith at the 47-yard line. He's across the 45, and he'll be dropped right there. Fred Smith took the punt and returns it into Warren Western Reserve territory. He was hit by Richard Page of the Raiders, but the Falcons will again have great field position as they start this drive.
And we've got, 6:14, which is plenty of time, I think, to go about, 43 yards?
Right, we need a nice 43.5-yard drive, John.
Right.
Okay. Or run, whatever.
I'll take either one.
We're hitting the 6-minute mark. The Falcons up 7-0. Hand off to Hawkins. He's looking to throw. And it's intercepted. The pass hung up there, and it was intercepted inside the 10. Ted Sorego was fighting number 18, Richard Page, for the ball, but the pass hung up, and Page was able to close in on it and make the interception.
I know that... Go ahead, Red. I know that was probably the intended route, but all I could see was Teddy running a post there. There was nobody there. And, of course, what you plan on having happen there is that defensive back comes straight up, and then you run to the post and then sneak in behind it. But he was able to recover. The ball hung up there a little bit too long.
Well, he really didn't go for the fake at all. As soon as Sorego came out, he followed him right in front of him all the way down the field.
1st and 10 reserve at their own 8-yard line. 5:33 left to go first half. Fitch up 7-zip. The ball carrier, I think it was the fullback. Okay, number 20. They don't have number 25. Bill Davis made the stop on the play for the Falcons, and there's a loss of 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 12 now for the Raiders. The ball at the 7-yard line.
That was an excellent call, really, because it was just, an exchange of the football there, possession. First down, we've been successful with Leo running the ball, and, nothing wrong with that call at all.
We've been anticipating that play for quite a while now. We saw it. The pass was intended to number 23 again, Rod Dantzler, and again it was overthrown.
I think Mr. Ellen at this point is getting a little gun-shy. He looked up, and all of a sudden he realized that his receiver was not out in the clear, and then all of a sudden he was going to run the ball, and there were a lot of white shirts in front of him, and he really forced that pass.
That's what pressure does, guys. You're putting pressure, and he's hurrying throws.
Once again, the Falcons take out their down lineman, and they substitute. They bring in Dan Sorego, outside linebacker. Rich Turner is in the ballgame, an extra defensive back. Rich Morrow, the outstanding free safety, is back looking, and now the Raiders are going to go for a little trickery. Rich Morrow trying to chase it down, just overthrown. Morrow trying to come up with another interception. The Raiders went to the trick play. Tony Ford, the tailback, tried to throw that, but he overthrew his own man by 20 yards, and the Fitch defense in the process, and another great job by the Fitch defense.
That shows the improvement we've made, because earlier in the year we were getting sucked up on similar plays like that, and that time, boy, everybody stayed home and excellent coverage.
You know, I think we're getting a lot of confidence in our defense with each other. When we send in that prevent defense, we don't lose much in tackling. We lose a little beef, but the thing is that we have a lot of confidence in those boys to be able to make a tackle in case of a run.
Reserve will punt out of their own end zone. 4th and 12, going for it, and they don't get it, but it's a relatively short kick. Hawkins is going to take it at the 41-yard line, trying to get by him, and he's across the 35, and he'll be hit right there. But the Falcons, once again, on the exchange, come up with excellent field position. They are getting closer and closer to the Warren Western Reserve goal line with every change of possession. They now have it 1st and 10, just inside the Reserve 35-yard line.
And again, I'd like to see, we've got 4:32 here. Even if we can get it down inside the 20 somewhere, the way this game's going, 10-0 lead wouldn't be too bad going in the second half.
Coach Hartman got his wish. He told his team after last week it was okay. They were allowed to score in the first half. They've gone 2 weeks in a row against Maslin and Mooney without scoring in the first half, only for big comeback victories, and he told his team it's okay this week against Reserve. They're allowed to score, and they've got 1 on the board, and 2 would certainly be nice. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to go. First half, Falcons up 7-0. And there's wholesale switching going on out on the field. Hawkins is the ball carrier. He's across the 30, still on his feet, dives down to the 27-yard line. Tremendous balance by Leo Hawkins. He got hit at about the 30, but he was able to get by that man and stay on his feet and pick up another 3 yards. Good effort by Leo.
Yeah, that's, again, another adjustment that, we've done not only this year, but the last couple years. We take our tight end and flop him and go with an unbalanced line in either direction. And again, it usually causes some confusion there on the defensive side of the football again.
The gain was 7. It is 2nd down, 3 yards to go at the Reserve 28-yard line. 3.5 to go in the first quarter. Morrow on the counter, takes it inside the 25, and he should have a Fitch first down. And it is. It will be 1st and 10 Falcons at the 24-yard line of Warren Western Reserve.
Randy, why don't you give those inside linemen again? They are doing a super job of making holes.
The center, of course, is Joe Carson, number 51. The guards, Tom Buck, Chris Bernai, Devin Fitzpatrick, back after that injury, is playing doing a great job at guard for the Falcons. The tackles, Roland and Damian Billick. And the tight end is Ron Strollo. Eric McMahon comes in the ballgame quite a bit at tight end also. Split end, Ted Sorego, and Rich Turner alternates with him. And, of course, Eric Lucky's the quarterback, and there's going to be a delay of game call against the Falcons. What do they get in high school?
25 seconds, guys.
Well, the last play went off at, I said 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It's down to 3:02 now.
And they ran a play in between.
Well, I guess the clock stopped with
the first down.
But whatever. 5-yard penalty against the Falcons makes it 1st and 15. It just seems to make it more fun for the Fitch offense to have to go 15 for first down instead of 10 these days. Hawkins on first down gets down close to the 25. He will not quite get back to the line of scrimmage.
I'm predicting we're going to see Freddie Smith here on a trap. One of these plays here, because Fred hasn't run the ball in a while, and we're kind of lulling to sleep here with Leo, so don't be too surprised that the coaching staff doesn't try and break a quick one with Freddie up to get there somewhere.
Fitch has 2 timeouts remaining. They took 1 timeout early when they had a 4th down situation deep in Reserve territory. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Fitch up 7-0. 2nd down, 11 at the Reserve 25-yard line. Hawkins inside the 25 down to about the 22. And it will be 3rd and long for Fitch as we come close to the 2-minute mark here in the first half.
Now, I don't know, are we within Chris Bernai's range yet? I think it would be what? We're on the 22, 29, about 39 yards?
Yeah, I think we're probably very close. Bernai's done a great job kicking. Watching him in practice, he looks like he's capable of hitting from maybe beyond 40 yards.
Watch the play. If it's a pass, we're dead center. If it's a pass, they're setting up the possibility of a field goal.
3rd and 8 now. Lucky's looking to throw. He fires. It's a wounded duck. that I think is complete.
Somebody caught him.
Every time the crowd stands up, I lose that end of the field, and the Falcons are going to come up about a yard short. The pass was complete.
Decision time, guys.
I think you'd have to go for it here.
We're going for it. Randy says we're going for it.
Rich Turner, I think, is going to tell Eric Luckage we're going for it, too.
I'll have to agree.
We're up by a touchdown, 1:36 left to go. And I think if you can get the first down here, you're at the 15-yard line. You have a chance of going up by 14. Pitch to Hawkins, and he's still on his feet, and he's got the first down. He was hit at the 16, but he broke that tackle, and he picks up the Fitch first down. Another good effort by Leo.
And again, Leo is looking like the Leo that everybody expected, 3 years ago. Not to say that he hasn't done a good job up to this point, but he's finally breaking tackles, running through people, and really looks like a much better football player.
You mentioned the power in his legs, and he dips the shoulder so they can't even get at his feet.
1st and 10 Fitch at the 10. Morrow is dropped for a big loss. We went to the counter, but the penetration by the reserve linebackers shut that play down, and a big loss on first down. 1:06 left to go. The clock is running. And
guys,
the loss was about 3, maybe 4 yards on the play. They have the chains up, so I guess it's technically still possible for us to pick up a first down without getting in the end zone.
Are we going to get into that again?
I haven't got one of those right yet this year, so we'll just let that go and hope we get into the end zone and not worry about it. We're down to 45 seconds to go. 2nd and 14.
At least there's no cramps.
Right. Leo Hawkins was stopped for another loss on the play, and Fitch will take a timeout. I think we have one timeout remaining. Eric Luckage is coming over to the sidelines to talk to his coach about what we are going to try. We have lost 5 yards since picking up the first down. It is 3rd and 15. I would assume that you try one, maybe pass into the end zone if you can get that, and then go for the field goal if you don't.
And the only thing I'm looking at here, Chris is a soccer-style kicker, really, and I think they're more effective from the other hash mark. I wouldn't be surprised, if we try to run something back into the middle of the field or towards the left side of the field. They're away from us to see if they can get some kind of field position. I know, a pass wouldn't be a bad call, but I think at this point, like we said, Coach Hartman probably would be happy with 3 points.
The real success has come off of our right side, where Leo went for the touchdown and a few other plays. The only problem was the right side at that point was the wide side of the field and not the short side.
Well, we can flop the formation over, guys. That's all they'll do here. They can flop the formation over and put our strong side, and we're going to go that way.
Mike Jones is in the ball game at tackle on the right side. The pitch goes to Hawkins. He's going to the center of the field. He's going to be hit as he gets down close to the 10. It'll be 4th down, but Ken, you're right. We ran the ball to the center of the field to try, I'm sure, to set up the field goal, and that's what we're going to have. Chris Bernai will come in to attempt the field goal. We have 24 seconds on the clock in the first half. This will be Bernai's first field goal attempt of the season, I believe.
And Chris, is the way he's been kicking those extra points, I think Coach Hartman has a lot of confidence in him, and he did, I don't think, the way he's putting the ball up and, have an interception.
He's going to put it down with Ted Sorego holding at about the 18-yard line. This will be a 28-yard field goal attempt.
And really, when you stop and think about it, it's not too much more than an extra point. We're not out there in that 35, 40-yard range, and, Chris gets a good snap and we get a good holder. I think he'll make this.
The Raiders are going to call timeout. They will probably be talking about how they want to try and block this, and they, I'm sure, are also calling timeout to give Chris a little more time to contemplate it. Although, watching all kinds of pro games and college games and things like that, you always see the opposition call timeout, and they say it's to ice the kicker, and I don't know how many times I've ever seen the kicker miss. It seems like they always just walk up and kick that thing through, and the strategy never seems to work for the defense. But I guess it's something you try.
We all know Chris Bernai rather well. I mean, he's an outstanding linebacker, and he's loose enough being out there, and he does enjoy kicking, and I'm sure he's more excited than anybody else with the opportunity to try to make this field goal.
24 seconds left to go, first half. Falcons leading 7-0, trying to extend their lead to 10, with Chris Bernai attempting a 28-yard field goal. Snap is down, kick is up, and it's good! Chris Bernai from 28 yards hits the field goal, and the Falcons lead 10-0.
And again, give those guys up front, a lot of credit. Yeah, we did a nice job of keeping, anybody from penetrating, and Chris knocked that right through the heart of the goalpost there.
That ball was long enough. He could have gone back 15 more yards and still been plenty of foot to kick that ball over the goalpost.
And plenty of distance. And looking at the flag, I think he may have been kicking a little bit. I don't think it doesn't look like it's blowing real hard, but if anything, he may have been kicking into the wind. Great kick by Chris Bernai, and the Falcons extend their lead to 10-0. Here we are in the first half at Mollenkoff Stadium. 21 seconds left to go. And John, here's another one of those situations where 21 seconds, you just want to get the ball down the field somewhere where you can stop a return, and then reserve will have very little time to try and do anything offensively. You just don't want to give up the return here.
Right, because right now I'm sitting on the edge of my seat because I know this is probably one of the only areas where they can really hurt us tonight. They, of course, like on several occasions we went for an interception and we, almost got it, and then we almost didn't get it. And, they on a fluke play like that, or if we get them here and on a kickoff or a punting situation where they can get some running room. So I'll be happy when we bring this ball carrier down.
The squib kick is bounced and played around with at the 15-yard line. They're trying for the return, and he's not going to get anywhere. He is snowed under by a bunch of Falcons short of the 20-yard line. Bernai bounced that ball down the field, and good coverage by the Falcons. 32, 40 Smith, 25, Bill Davis. 22 for the Falcons is Keith Motter on the play for the Falcons.
Chris Bernai, when he does squib it, doesn't squib it easily. That ball was bouncing rather hard down the field, and if they wouldn't have touched it, that would have gone all the way into the end zone.
John Dorenzo was also on the kickoff team making the play, and the clock runs out, and that is the end of the first half of play. It is Austintown Fitch 10 and Warren Western Reserve nothing.
And something we really haven't talked too much about. I've been talking a lot about football, but I'm pleased with the way the kids are handling their emotions and their tempers out there, because there have been several occasions where the Raiders wanted to carry on, a little bit after the whistle has been blown, and our kids have kind of walked away from that. And, this is going to be important in the second half because, we're up by 10 points, and, we could see more of that, and hopefully our kids don't get involved in that.
They've done a great job as they have moved out to a 10-0 advantage at the end of the first half. And right now we will go down to the field and pick up the halftime performance of the Austintown Fitch High School Marching Band. It is 10-0 Austintown Fitch at the half. The Falcons came up with 2 turnovers in the first half. The first one they could not move because of penalties. They got another one late in the game. They didn't score off that. The one Fitch drive was highlighted by a 62-yard run by Leo Hawkins. It didn't go for the touchdown, but 2 plays later from the 5, he took it in for the score. And the Falcons went up 7-0. At the end of the first half, Chris Bernai kicked a 28-yard field goal, his first field goal of the year, first field goal attempt, and the Falcons enjoy a 10-0 lead here at the half in Mollenkoff Stadium against the Warren Western Reserve Raiders. And Ken, I think you got a number from the stat people on how many yards Leo was able to rack up in the first half. He needed, I think you said 39 to be number 2 all time, and I think he got that plus a little, didn't he?
Quite a bit more. As a matter of fact, we don't know exactly how many times he did attempt in his running, but Leo Hawkins in the first half had 135 yards, so he's well on his way to a very, very outstanding performance here. You all know that he was 2 points behind Mr. Coleman from Cardinal Mooney, 2 yards behind. We had some trouble with the microphone. Leo Hawkins in the first half had 135 yards. That puts him second as the most outstanding runner in the history of Fitch High School. And he's well on his way to an outstanding game. if with any kind of second half we could see Leo in past the 200 yards. Leo needed 39 to become the second all-time rushing leader, and he has that. And now he has 1 touchdown. He needs 6 more to have the most points scored. That's held by Bob Roth, the outstanding runner in the history of Fitch High football. And Leo may have a good shot at it if the play goes the way it did the first half.
The Falcons again up 10-0 as they are playing Warren Western Reserve. John, the first half, at the beginning, Reserve had 1 drive that got down to the Fitch 14, and I think from the time the Fitch defense was able to stop Reserve on that drive, things from then went more and more in the favor of the Falcons. They really took control of the ballgame after that drive.
Yeah, we really, as a whole, I think, executed quite well, Randy, especially after the situation that you're referring to there. And really the only thing that probably kept us from putting more points on the board were those couple of penalties that we had, especially the one early in the ball game. But you know, we can execute as well this second half, especially defensively. You know, we should come out on the right side of the scoreboard.
Reserve will kick off to start the second half. It is a driving kick. Leo takes it on his 5-yard line. He's out to the 20, 25, still on his feet. Out to almost the 35-yard line. 30-yard return on the kickoff by Leo Hawkins, who, in addition to leading or being in second place in the Steel Valley Conference in rushing, he is by far number 1 in total yards, total offensive production, and that includes rushing, kickoff returns, punt returns, and receiving.
An important thing here in the second half is that we start out here, you know, with a nice drive here and, you know, prevent Reserve from getting any kind of momentum.
First and 10 Falcons, their own 35-yard line, and the first series of the second half. Falcons up 10-0 over Reserve. Handoff inside to Freddie Smith. He's across the 40-yard line, and he gains about 6 yards on first down. That is only the second or third time that we have seen Fred Smith carry the ball. So where we certainly highlighted Hawkins in the first half running out of the tailback slot, they will keep the Reserve defense honest by running up the middle on the first down with the fullback. Steve Iacobucci checks into the ball game at split end, replacing Rich Turner, and that is primarily where Coach Hartman sends in the plays, alternating his split ends. It will be second down and 4 yards to go for the Falcons. The ball is at their own 41-yard line. Again, handoff inside. No, Eric Luckage, nice fake, keeps it. He's into Raider territory. He is brought down inside the Raider, right at the 48-yard line. He will pick up a first down.
And something that I pointed out, you know, towards the end of the first half, Randy, the fact that, you know, we haven't really been utilizing Fred much, and, you know, Reserve is probably, you know, especially more so in the second quarter, been concentrating more on the off-tackle holes. You know, we'll probably see Fred maybe pick up some valuable yardage here, you know, in the second half.
Nice game by Eric on that play. First and 10 Fitch at the Reserve 48. Luckage coming off by far his best ball game of the season last week against Cardinal Mooney. Hawkins was the ball carrier on first down, and he will lose a couple yards. He will be dropped back in Fitch territory. He will be just short of the 50-yard line. Good penetration by the Reserve defense, and that again is one of those cases where with Reserve doing all the stunning and gambling, every once in a while they are going to guess right, and they'll be able to come up with a defensive play, but it's just that the other side of the sword is when they guess wrong, it's going to go big against them, and we saw that earlier in the game. Second down, 12 yards to go. The ball just outside the 50-yard line. 10 minutes left to go, third quarter. 10-0 Fitch. Handoff inside. Fred Smith breaks a tackle at the 50, down to the 45, and if penalty flags come flying, there was a late hit. Number 16 of Reserve, Charles Smith, came in late and hit him with a forearm, and that is going to cost Reserve 15. Personal foul. From the point of the infraction, the 45, they should take it down to right around the 30-yard line where the Falcons will pick up a first down. And, John, you said that sooner or later that Raider activity, that extracurricular activity was going to cost them, and you were right. That's exactly what we saw.
I'm just glad we had some people here because here for a while the flag wasn't coming out until you know, a few of our loyal fans got boisterous there, and then all of a sudden they all came out.
Right, a roar from the fans because that was blatant. First and 10, Falcons, the Reserve 30-yard line, 9 minutes, 39 seconds left to go. Third quarter of play. This is the opening drive of the second half. Luckage keeping. He is not going to get anything there. He is dropped. He faked to Fred Smith, but that time the pursuit of the outside people for reserve was able to keep Eric from turning the corner, and no gain on first down.
I'm not sure whether or not that was a busted play. Eric obviously does run around and fake and then take the ball by himself. But that time he pulled up short as if he was looking for someone to take the ball out of his hand.
I think, as it turns out, he would have preferred that.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep the defense honest again. We've been pounding away inside, and of course, we got to do something outside, just to keep them honest.
2nd and 10 at the reserve 30-yard line. Luckage looking to throw. In trouble. Penalty flag flies. Ball is in the air. It's short. I think we're going to get holding called against the Falcons. There are 4 or 5 of the reserve Raiders that were all over Eric Luckage. He held on to the ball, I think, just a little bit too long, but of course Eric doesn't want to throw an interception while we're deep in reserve territory, and it is holding against the Falcons.
I think it's clipping, Randy.
Clipping.
Which, kind of unusual. That's what he signaled there, I think.
Clipping inside the interior lineman.
Well.
That's unusual. The thing that scared me there, though, too, not talking about the officiating, but Eric, I think, just put that ball up more or less for grabs and threw it in a general vicinity or area. And right now, I'd much rather see him eat the ball and take the loss.
Reserve will take the penalty against the Falcons. Clipping is indeed the call, and it will move it back to the 50. Once again, penalties a major part of the Falcon drive. I'm not sure we would know what to do if we were to go down the field without running into penalties somewhere along the way. I mean, it would just it's probably almost in the game plan these days.
Well, we have our offense attuned, I think, now for this situation, and I don't know, we've been responding each time, so hopefully we can do it again.
2nd and 30 to go for the Falcons at the 50-yard line. Hawkins, the ball carrier. He's still on his feet. He broke a tackle at the 45. Nice job by Leo. He just keeps those legs driving, and it takes 4 or 5 Raiders to bring him down.
He put his head down in the front of one of our blockers and just kept pushing the blocker, and no one could get to him. And then he broke off, and as they tried to grab him, his feet just kept driving and driving. He is running with just wild abandonment like that.
Gain of 8 on the play. It is now 3rd and 22 yards to go. The Falcons need to get to the Warren Western Reserve 20-yard line. They are now at the 42 with 8 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. They're up 10-0, trying to add to it, but they've got a long way to go on this play. Luckage, straight drop back. Firing incomplete. The pass was intended to Rich Morrow at the 35-yard line.
And Luckage is hurt.
Eric Luckage is down, and he is hurt.
And what happened there was Eric was halfway through his throwing motion, and I think somebody got in a pretty good lick on his ribs or his shoulder.
The Fitch people are out on the field, and Eric really looks like he's hurt.
Yeah, he got caught in one of those vulnerable positions where he had his arm up, and had most of his body exposed there to the tackler, and of course he got in a pretty good lick on him, and hopefully maybe just got the wind knocked out of him.
And they are checking him. I think Dr. Dockery is out on the field, taking a look at Eric. Coach Hartman is out there. Coach Hartman also is having a few words to say to the referee about his quarterback and his health.
And I think the point that Dave is probably trying to make to the official is the fact that, just what I tried to allude to there, I think he got in a pretty good lick, but it looked like a spear. You still can't put that helmet, use that helmet as a spearing mechanism, and I think that's maybe what he's complaining about. And the thing we have to be concerned about here, not only do we, lose our quarterback, hopefully only for one play, but we have to punt the football, Randy.
Yeah, that's certainly another factor. Eric is walking off the field. The Bishop, the Falcon trainer, is walking him off, and Coach Hartman is coming off. They're checking his ribs, and that is pretty much an indication of what you said, John, about taking a helmet, and that's so dangerous. That's why it's illegal in football. Rich Morrow will punt for the Falcons. It is 4th and 22 from the 42 of the Raiders. He gets off a high floating kick. Fair catch called for at the 16-yard line, and Bobby Allen will take it there for reserve. So Rich Morrow comes in and does a good job. Is that Rich Morrow? Number 8.
Right,
no?
Randy. Oh, is that Todd O'Palik?
Todd O'Palik,
number 8?
yeah, number 8. That is a sophomore that kicked the ball for the Falcons. So it will be 1st and 10 for Warren Western Reserve. They mark it at the 17-yard line of the Raiders as they will have their first possession here in the second half. They trail 10-0. We have 7 minutes 52 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Allen hands off to Ford, his tailback. He will get only a yard or two on the play. Since that drive that Reserve had, which was highlighted by a 45-yard run by Bob Allen, the quarterback, Reserve has been able to do virtually nothing offensively against the Falcon defense. They gain about a yard on the play.
And even though we didn't put any points on the board with that last drive, we managed to eat up practically half the quarter, which, as we get into the ball game here, time is just as much a factor now as anything else. As we can just maintain this 10-0 lead.
2nd and 9 now. It is at the Raider 18-yard line. Ford once again goes wide in motion. They're going to try the pass. They've got a pass over the middle, complete to number 44. Destra Combs comes up with the reception, and that will be a first down for Warren Western Reserve at their own 34-yard line.
And there they took advantage of our linebackers, who have been pretty aggressive all night and getting in on a lot of tackles, and they made a little play-action fake at our linebackers and just dumped the ball right behind them to their big tight end there.
Just a little sidelight. Doug Wilhelm is now warming up. Eric Luckage is up, but Doug Wilhelm is warming up.
Bobby Allen on the keep. He's across the 35, and he will be driven out of bounds somewhere around the 40-yard line. The Reserve fans making some noise on the opposite side. They're going to mark him out of bounds, I think, at the 41-yard line. So it will be a gain of about 7 yards on the play for Bob Allen, the Reserve quarterback.
And that's probably the first time tonight that we've really had a breakdown there on the outside. We've been doing a good job of containing him, and there he was just able to turn the corner and pick up some big yardage.
The gain was 7 on the play. It will be now 2nd down, 3 yards to go for Warren Western Reserve. They are at their own 41-yard line. 6 minutes, 41 seconds to go, third quarter. Falcons continue to lead 10-0. This Reserve drive started at their own 16-yard line. And this time the tailback is going to get clobbered. Eric McMahon was out there for the Falcons and try and pick up some of the other numbers. Donnie Jones, of course.
And if you notice what Donnie Jones did there, guys, he just took 2 of their lead blockers down and actually took them right into the ball carrying, and somebody else come up, I think it was Eric McMahon, and helped make the stick. But Donnie actually took on 3 players there by himself.
Tony Ford lost 2 yards on the play. It is now 3rd and 5 for the Raiders. They are at their own 39-yard line. Rolling out, firing, and it's almost intercepted. Ted Sorego almost came up with that, but he couldn't hold on. But it will be 4th down, and the Raiders will have to punt.
Again, it could have been obviously a big play for us there. Teddy comes up with that when we get the ball at least at midfield. Now, the Raiders, are going to kick the ball, and hopefully we don't end up with too bad a field position here.
The Falcons will send 2 men back to receive. Leo Hawkins is the deep man at his own 25-yard line. Fred Smith is the other man. He is set up at his own 35. Allen gets a short kick away, and it takes a Falcon bounce back up the field. The Raiders will down it at the Fitch 34-yard line.
Eric Luckage is talking to Coach Hartman, so he'll be going back in the game.
The thing that always scares me on those punt returns is you get people downfield throwing blocks, and there, we came awfully close. I think it was Rich Turner, was getting hit in the back with the ball, and I was glad when that ball was blown dead. And
it took a bounce back upfield away from our players, which was fortunate, so we didn't get the turnover. 5:33 left to go. 10-0 Fitch. Handoff Hawkins. Trying to get outside. He's got the 35-40. And he is hit at the 42-yard line, but he drives his man straight upfield and out of bounds. Leo does a good job again, real determination, and he should pick up the first down on the play.
And we've got to, be more successful with that type of play because well, up to this point in the ball game, they've really ganged up inside on us, and it's nice to see us be able to get outside to keep them honest.
The 1st and 10 for the Falcons is just across their own 45-yard line. Handoff inside, and Fred Smith is really hammered. He got hit straight on by number 58 for Warren Western Reserve. That is Garcelle Moss. And there is no gain on the play.
And there again, Randy, something you pointed out earlier, the fact that, every once in a while they are going to get lucky and catch us, in a wrong defense, or we're going to catch them in the wrong defense, and we just didn't have enough people inside to block the look they gave us.
Lost about a half-yard on the play. It's still second and a little more than 10 yards to go at the Fitch 45-yard line. Falcons up 10-0, trying to extend their lead. We've played three-quarters of the third quarter. Rich Morrow is the ball carrier, but he's not going to get anything. They tried to go on the counter, but Reserve was ready for that, and there may be a loss of about a yard on the play, so it will be 3rd and long for the Falcons. The Raider defense has been tough. We expected that when we came in. Only once this season have they given up double figures in points, and that was to Cleveland Benedictine. They lost 21-7. Their other losses, 7-6 to South and 7-3 to Howland. So they do a pretty good job of keeping their opposition off the scoreboard, and they've done the job here against the Falcons. We lead 10-0 with 4 minutes left to go, third quarter. 3rd and almost 11 yards to go. Luckage back to pass. He's under pressure and thrown for a loss. Again, number 58 came flying through. Garcelle Moss was untouched, and number 72 also was in on the play for Reserve. That's John Stringer, and they throw Eric Luckage for a big loss, and the Falcons will have to punt.
And we had a missed assignment inside, I think, here, guys, because he came home practically untouched, and this is not what we needed right now, is that big loss.
The only good thing that came out of the play is Eric Luckage was seriously thinking about throwing it, but then he realized that would be too dangerous, and he just ate the ball.
Loss of 12 yards on the play. It is 4th down and 23 to go. 34-yard lines, line of scrimmage. Luckage to punt, and he just barely gets it off, but it's very, very short. Takes a Fitch bounce, and it's touched. Falcons recover. Warren Western Reserve made a big mistake right there. That was a very short spinning kick. One of the Raiders came flying upfield and tried to make a short hop it. Basically, he couldn't do it, and the Falcons recover. I don't know who it was.
Rich Turner's excited, but Don Jones was there also.
Big turnover. Warren Western Reserve would have come out of that with great field position, and they made a serious mistake by trying to field that. And the Falcons recover and will try and take advantage of this turnover again by Reserve. That's the 3rd of the ball game. It is 1st and 10 Fitch at their own 48-yard line with 2 minutes 52 seconds left to go. The Falcons are in the explode offensive set again. Steve Iacobucci comes out at split end, and there's a penalty flag, delay a game.
That's quick.
Well, that will be 5 yards marked off against the Falcons, and as usual, it's 1st and 15 or more, and
that's something Randy is plaguing us, that particular penalty. I don't think we've had but maybe one of those.
We had one previously this season, and that's 2 or 3 tonight.
It's 3 tonight that I can recall.
2:44 to go. Ted Srago's in the game now at split end. Pitch goes to Hawkins. He's across the 45, and that will be it.
They're piling on.
The short gain on the play. It's gain of maybe 2 or 3 yards. They're going to call it 2. They'll mark the ball at the Fitch 45. They need to get to the 41-yard line of Warren Western Reserve to pick up this first down.
And the play we haven't been able to execute that well tonight, and the play that worked so well against Mooney was that keeper bootleg that Eric was running, so we might see that again here real soon.
Hand off again to Hawkins. Good yardage inside Reserve territory. He gets down to the 47 or 48 of Warren Western Reserve. It is going to be 3rd and about 6 yards to go for the Falcons.
That was a good example of what John was saying about the way Leo is running now. He doesn't wait behind the line of scrimmage. If he's going to pick any spot, he waits until after he crosses the line of scrimmage, and he's getting that exceptional burst of speed through the line of scrimmage and into the secondary of the Raiders.
Third down, 7 yards to go for the Falcons. They are at the 48-yard line of Warren Western Reserve. Luckage looking to throw. He fires. It's complete. Ted Sorego, first down, penalty flag late. Let's see what it is.
And a great throw there because they had 3 men around the ball, the receiver, and Eric just pinpointed that pass right in there.
And it's going to be against the Falcons.
And this is the same gentleman that has failed to call the...
And they're going to call the crackback block against the Falcons. We got the first down, and we get the penalty. Unbelievable.
Maybe don't call it a dead ball foul because that flag was so late.
Yeah, well, they're going to mark it off from the original line of scrimmage, and this will go back all the way to the 38-yard line, and it will be third down and a mile again.
And this is what is unbelievable, guys. We're throwing the ball, and usually the outside people are in some kind of pass routes, and there we get nailed for a crackback block, and that's usually on, one of your outside receivers, a split end or a... So that's one that will make you think for a while.
3rd and 20 now. Luckage back to pass. He's floating it out for Hawkins, and he can't come up with it. Leo lost his footing. The pass was a little bit underthrown. Leo had his man beat, but he couldn't come up with the reception, and the Falcons, because of the penalties, will have to punt again.
That time, Freddie Smith got the blitzing linebacker, but it just wasn't enough. Leo Hawkins did get past the defender, and he was at least 5 or 6 yards behind him, but Eric Luckage had to throw off the wrong foot and didn't get any kind of power on that pass.
Tony, let's see, this is Bob Allen back to receive for reserve at his own 28-yard line.
Hit the ground.
He takes it on the dead run, and he's all the way out across the 45-yard line, and reserve is going to get great field position. Guys, it's getting scary because, here we are. It's still only 10-0. The third quarter is almost gone, and if a reserve score puts this game in real jeopardy right now. Penalties have just absolutely devastated the Fitch offense tonight. 41 seconds left to go, third quarter, 1st and 10 reserve at their own 47-yard line. Handoff to number 44. He's thrown down by Destra Combs, was thrown out by Donnie Jones. There'll be a short gain on the play. Gain was only 2 yards. Actually, only a yard. It will be 2nd down, 9 to go for reserve. They are at their own 48-yard line. And that should have been the last play of the third quarter. We're down to 5 seconds to go. I don't think there's any way reserve can get this off. 3, 2, 1, and that is the end of the third quarter. The score remains Austintown Fitch 10 and Warren Western Reserve nothing. And John, penalties, and we just haven't been able to put reserve away.
Reserve and those penalties. Again, it's sad because, I know people they might be getting tired of hearing us comment about the officiating, but it's just, it's taking a very drastic effect on our football team at this point, and that's just when they're being called and how, it's unusual for somebody to drop back and throw the ball and have somebody call a crackback block on you. It's just, that's something that may happen once in a million years. But I have a lot of confidence in our football team and our coaching staff, and the defense, I think, is going to rise to the occasion here, and we're going to overcome all of this.
Well, this year, the fourth quarter has certainly been all red and blue. It has belonged to the Falcons. We were able to come up with 2 great come-from-behind victories the last 2 weeks against Massillon and Cardinal Mooney in the fourth quarter. And we certainly hope that Falcon fourth quarter intensity holds true because they are clinging to a 10-0 lead here over reserve. 2nd and 9 for them at their own 48 as we start the fourth quarter of play. Allen looking to pass, dumps it out, intended to Tony Ford. It's incomplete. Sorrego and Starry were covering for the Falcons. And they tried the little dump pass, but they couldn't come up with it.
And Teddy did a nice job again of controlling his emotions there, because he was just getting ready to pop number 20 and, of course, got himself under control there, and the official was just waiting for him to make some contact and throw the flag.
Just an observation on that play, as he was running this way, the tight end, Mike Blah, went, and he was wide open on the far side. Someone's going to have to cover him. If they saw it up in the press box, I wouldn't be surprised for him throwing that pass that way.
3rd and 9 now for the Raiders.
Big play.
Allen looking. He's got his man, and it's going to be first down. He's still on his feet. Finally driven out of bounds, but he's inside the Fitch 35. Big first down for the Raiders. They keep their drive alive.
And we didn't get a good job out of our outside people there. You know, we had no pressure whatsoever out there and gave Allen too much time to throw and pick out his receiver.
1st and 10, Warren Western Reserve at the Fitch 35-yard line. The defense has to hold here. Once again, the longer the game goes on with the way things are going, the more Reserve believes and do have a chance to win the football game. Nice job of stringing it out. Sorrego did a sensational job. Cooper comes over for the stop. Chris Bernay also there as the Falcons string out the play.
And again, you couldn't play that any better. Teddy kept his feet, you know, hand fought about 3 or 4 offensive blockers, and, you know, we got good support from the inside, and you couldn't draw that one up any better.
This reserve drive started at the 48. They are at the Fitch 35. It is 2nd and 10. 11 minutes left to go in the game. Fitch 10, Warren Western Reserve nothing.
And looks for the sprint out again.
Pitch back, Ford, 35, dives down to about the 32-yard line, and it again will be 3rd and long. Rich Morrow coming up from the secondary. Eric McMahon and Ron Strollo there. Also number 75 for the Falcons, Bill Rowland. All combining to stop that play for a gain of only 3 yards. Once again, it's 3rd and long for the Raiders, and once again, the Falcons have to hold here.
Right, Randy and Ken, because now we're in 4-down territory, so they've got 2 plays here to pick up 7 yards, and maybe if we come up with a big defensive play here, it might be a little bit longer than 7, hopefully.
They're at the Fitch 32-yard line. Allen looking to throw, fires, complete. First down Reserve inside the Fitch 15. The pass was completed to number 44, Destra Combs, and Reserve again converts on 3rd and long, and it's getting serious. They are at the Fitch 14. This matches their deepest penetration of the game, but they are there with 1st and 10.
And Ken, you pointed out this a little while ago about number 44 coming open free down there in the middle, and they have obviously seen this over there on the other side, the Reserve Raiders, and they're taking advantage of it right now.
The crowd's starting to chant defense. They need their Falcons to stop Reserve right here. Allen on the keep. He's hit. Donnie Jones and Ted Sorrego stop him. There'll be a loss on the play. Again, a great job. Mike Starry also out there, but the Falcons, Jones, Starry, and Sorrego jam it up on 1st down.
And now again we got to be a little more aware of the passing game, guys, because the run, we've practically shut the run down, but Reserve has been a little more successful here lately with the passing game.
2nd and 11, the ball at the 15-yard line of the Falcons. 9 minutes to go. Allen under pressure. He throws it, and it's complete. The pass is complete.
And again, I believe that's a lineman, if I'm not mistaken.
It was touched by the Falcon defender, so it was a legal pass, and it was caught by one of the down linemen for the Raiders.
Reserve Bobby Allen was being thrown down. He got the pass off, and fortunately for the Raiders, it was caught. There's no gain on the play, but they avoid the loss, which is important for them. Again, we have the third and long situation, and this time Warren Western Reserve wants to talk about it. They need to get in the end zone to get back in the ball game, and they will talk it over right here. They have taken their first time out of the second half. We're at the 8:55 mark in the fourth quarter. It's 10-0 Fitch, but Reserve with their most serious, the second time they've been inside the Fitch 15, and they are threatening to get back in the game. And the way things have gone with penalties and momentum, we just cannot afford to let them get the ball in the end zone here.
The strategy is going on both sides. Obviously, the Raiders are looking for a play, and they decided, and here comes their coach to tell them. Coach Jack Kenny has been conferring with their head coach, Dave Hartman. Now he's going out to tell our players just what he thinks is going to happen and what they have to look for.
And what we've been doing here the last couple plays, and where we had somewhat of a breakdown earlier, and this is how the Raiders got down deep in our territory, was our outside people weren't, or didn't get the job done anyways on that one particular play. But the last two, we can see what happens, when those contained people can, put a little pressure on Allen. This helps our secondary, our linebackers and defensive backs get into coverage. So look for our outside people maybe to be coming a little bit harder now in a more contained type position.
This is a big play. Third down, 11 yards to go for the Warren Western Reserve Raiders. Allen has time, throws, complete. It'll be close to a first down.
I think we're on about the 10, Randy. I think we're back under, maybe I'm...
Oh, okay.
Maybe about the 8?
Yeah, you're right. They'll be about 4 short. I'll see where they mark it. Right on the 10. So they pick up 6 on the play, and it's going to be 4th down and 5 yards to go. Well, no, 4th and more than that. They need to get to one be 3 or 4 yards. This is a big one. 4th and 5 at the Fitch 10. Allen is going to be snowed under in the backfield, and the Falcon defense holds. Donnie Jones made the play. They got great pressure up the middle against Allen, and on 4th down, the Falcon defense does the job, and they, for the second time tonight, Warren Western Reserve will turn it over on downs deep in Fitch territory, and the defense gets a great hand from the fans.
And what the Raiders have been doing, they've been pulling their guards. And really, you have two choices as a defensive coordinator or a Coach Hartman. You either keep a lot back or you rush a few, and they decided to come through those gaps that the guards vacated, and obviously was quite successful.
Handoff inside, Fred Smith. Smith crosses the 15-yard line. He'll get to the 16 or 17.
There's 8 minutes left to go. That drive by the Raiders took a lot of time. Now the Falcons have to try to get out of the hole.
Right, that drive ate up not quite 4 minutes of the clock.
We've got to avoid turnovers, and if we could just manage even 2 first downs here, this would eat up a big part of that clock.
We've just gone under the 8-minute mark, and now there's penalty flag thrown.
And I believe there we had 2 people in motion at the same time, which is...
it's going to be offside against the Raiders. A man stepped into the neutral zone, or lined up in the neutral zone, so it didn't matter if we had 2 men in motion, because as soon as they go into the neutral zone, that's an automatic penalty.
Well, I wouldn't mind them more or less evening things up, guys, about this time in the football game. This is when we could use a little extra help here, and 5 yards makes it now, what, second and
3. We're at the 28. Eric McMahon goes in motion. Hawkins, the ball carrier. He's across the 25. He's on his way. Unbelievable effort by Leo Hawkins. He goes 62 yards for the touchdown.
And you won't see a better run than that, guys, anywhere.
He had a man that it looked like he had an angle to bring him down. But at about the 15-yard line, he made a move, and one man caught him from behind, but Leo kept his balance. He took it in for the score, and it's now 16-0.
He also caught Leo's foot, I think, Randy, because Leo just kicked up his old heels there about the 5-yard line, and that tackler there, I think, caught it somewhere around the face.
Yeah, he's down on the field. But another tremendous run. Leo was hit at the line, broke through that. It was sailing down the sidelines. He put a move on his man and went in. And that will certainly put Leo over the 200-yard mark. But the most important thing is that put 16 points now on the scoreboard for the Falcons. And where just a minute ago the Raiders were at our 10-yard line and threatening to make it a 3-point ball game, suddenly, for the second time tonight, a big run by Leo Hawkins turns the game around, and boy, we needed that one bad.
So what's new, guys? We've got our backs up against the wall there, everything's going against us, and all of a sudden, we score a touchdown here.
I wish we had an instant replay on that. Leo Hawkins, the last time he had his long run, number 14, Madlack, who is a very fast individual, tried to get an angle on him, and last time he did, he knocked him out of bounds before he could get into the end zone. This time you could see Leo thinking, just thinking, and all of a sudden, when he made the break, Madlock tried to grab him, and Leo Hawkins was not going to be stopped from that end zone.
I have no doubt at all that watching Leo run down the field that time did wonders for Coach Hartman's flu.
Again, Leo, the thing, Randy and Ken, Leo is built so low to the ground. He just, that's got to be one heck of a job trying to bring him down, because he's got that. I always look at him. I think his thighs are as wide as he is tall. He's just he's built like a little Sherman tank.
Chris Burnide to attempt the point after. The kick is up, and it's good. With 7 minutes, 27 seconds left to go in the football game, it is now Austintown Fitch 17 and Warren Western Reserve nothing. Ken, Leo came into the game with, 762 yards in 7 games, and he's going to be, I think, probably around the 200-yard mark. With a little more yardage, if he can get a little bit more tonight, he could conceivably hit the 1,000-yard mark tonight.
I'm not a math teacher, but what do you have, 135 coming into the second half, and what was that run good for?
That
60?
was about 62, I think.
He had 11-yard run before that.
So let's say he's gone over that
he's got to be about
200 mark,
210 right now, and he needs, let's see, he had 762, so he needs 238 yards tonight to hit the 1,000-yard mark. So I would bet that Leo's no more than 20, 30 yards away from the 1,000-yard mark. Tremendous season for Leo Hawkins. And that's another touchdown. We talked before about how many he needed to hit the all-time touchdown mark. I think he needs only like 5 more, something like that.
That's it. He needed 7. He has 2 now. He needs 5 more. Maybe 1 more in this game would be very nice. And 2 more of the regular season games coming up. And hopefully
I'd like to see him get about 5 next week. 7:27 to go. Of course, the Falcons next week go to Canton, to Fawcett Stadium, site of the Hall of Fame, to take on the Canton-McKinley Bulldogs, who are going to be fired up after being upset last night by Youngstown South. And we close out the regular season of '86 at home against Ursuline in 2 weeks on Friday night. Number 14, Sean Matlock, is the carrier for reserve. He gets out to about the 30-yard line. And one thing we do want to make sure everyone knows, there was some question because one of the schedules that was printed was wrong. Next week's game against Canton-McKinley is on Saturday night. And Friday night, Ken, I think the Powder Puff game is at Fitch. Friday night, Falcon Stadium.
And the soccer team is going to have their parents' night earlier that day, about 1 o'clock in the stadium. We also have to tell you that this game will be the one game that you can watch for the next 2 weeks. We are not broadcasting from Canton-McKinley at Fawcett Stadium because of commitments by Canton-McKinley. We have to get permission from both schools before we could televise a game, and we did not get the permission from Canton-McKinley.
I suppose that's what's happened when you're real big time.
You do those things. That's right. We do those things. But in all sincerity, there.
That's popcorn.
I didn't have any popcorn. You mean he got popcorn and I didn't?
That's only because you're making me stand in the area where there's no window and it's cold over here.
We should have bought him hot chocolate, Randy.
I think so. 1st and 10 reserve. They're on 31-yard line. They trail by 17 now. The ball carrier is number 31.
Ken, one of our the tackler there, his hand was up there around the helmet, and I thought for sure that's what they seen also. But I guess they have a better vantage point than we do.
No doubt.
In this case, they do.
There's just no percentage in questioning officials, John.
We never do that, do we?
No. Okay, the penalty will go back to the 20-yard line. It will be 1st and 25 now. Actually, it's going to be 1st and 27 because the Raiders need to get to their own 42 to pick up this first down. We've hit the 7-minute mark. Falcons lead 17-0. Trying to go 8-0 on the season. Allen is the ball carrier. He's got the ball out close to the original line of scrimmage. He's dropped at about the 33. So he will gain the entire penalty back. Dan Sorego made the stop on the play for the Falcons.
A very time-consuming play, and they really didn't pick up that much. And this is what we need right now, is that keep that clock moving. And we're down, as you said, Randy, well, less than 6.5 minutes now.
Allen's run makes it 2nd down and about 8 yards to go for the Raiders. They have 6 minutes, 15 seconds left to go. Allen looking to throw, firing over the middle. Pass is incomplete. He had a man open. Number 23, Rod Dantzler, was open, but the pass was thrown wide, and he could not come up with it. Donnie Jones and Rich Turner were covering on the play. Mike Starry and, of course, Rich Morrow, the safety, also in the general vicinity. Coming out of the ball game right now for the Falcons, number 62 is a sophomore. That's Rich Basel. He's an outside linebacker, 5'9", 163-pound sophomore. He's in the game right now for Fitch. 3rd and 8 now for the reserve Raiders at their own 33. Allen rolling out, looking to throw, firing over the middle, and it's intercepted. Rich Morrow. Morrow comes up with interception number 6 on the season, the outstanding free safety. Okay, we lost sound for just a second. The Falcons have taken over after the interception by Rich Morrow. Mike Starry is in the game, running, and he's still on his feet. Still on his feet. of bounds. Mike Starry ran about 50 yards that time. Most of it was bouncing off reserve Raiders. They just couldn't bring him down.
And I know why we lost sound. I think that fell on you right over there. Who's that number 72 you said got in the football game?
All I know is number 72, Ken Carano, walked out on the field and something went haywire up here. What was it, Ken?
Why is that, Ken?
Okay, let's try and pick up some numbers. Number 57 is now in the ball game at center. That's Frank Rich. The quarterback is number 17, Doug Wilhelm. John Dorenzo's in the game at guard. Wilhelm is going to be dropped for a loss. Great penetration by the Raiders on that play. Number 66 is in the game also at guard. That's Dan Black. Bartfine and Carano are the tackles now. Checking into the game is... there's unsportsmanlike conduct against Warren Western Reserve. And that will cost them 15 yards. Let's see if we can find out who else is in the game. Number 60, John Dorenzo. Temper's getting a little hot as the Falcons have pretty much put this one away. We only have 4 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in the game. The Falcons up 17-0. Rich Morrow came up with the interception, which has led now to a first down at the 23-yard line of Warren Western Reserve. This is the number 2 Fitch offense out there right now. We have Motter and Starry in the backfield with Wilhelm at quarterback. These are primarily juniors. And there's another penalty against the Raiders. They jumped offside, and that will cost them 5 more. And the Raiders have pretty much lost their composure here. And they're going to just invite the Falcons down the field with these penalties as we get in the closing moments. Steve Iacobucci is in the game. He is at split end for the Falcons right now. It's important that these guys get some action. They work every bit as hard in practice as the number 1 people do, and one of the reasons you're strong as a team is because you have the people on the bench that can do the job when necessary, and they push the number 1 people. Number 22 is the ball carrier. That is Keith Motter. Motter on the 1st and 5 play will pick up about 3 yards on the play.
And it's always good for the morale of the team, too, because, you know, even if the kids, you know, most of them are just satisfied to play one play because then they always feel like they're part of, you know, the big wins and the victories. And, you know, this is what we need, especially, you know, for these last 2 ball games is, you know, high team morale.
Second down, 3 yards to go for the Falcons. Wilhelm, the quarterback. Hands off to Motter again. Motter gains about 2 or 3 yards. He's driven back, but he will be down within about a yard of the first down. It will be 3rd and 1, maybe 2 yards. They're going to mark it at the 14. The Falcons need to get to the 12 to pick up this first down. Alternating with the plays are Sean Rogers, number 11, and Steve Iacobucci. Iacobucci in the ballgame now. In the center right now is Frank Rich. Bartfine Carano, the tackles, Dorenzo and Black are the guards. Number 80, Don Hauser, the sophomore tight end, goes in motion. Mike Starry, the ball carrier, he'll have the first down at the 10-yard line. And he really got wrapped after it looked like the whistle blew, but the officials will mark the first down, and the Falcon drive continues. The clock is rolling. It stops right now with the movement of the chains, but it will start back up when they get the chain set. And
the second chain is the flag is still up. He did not put it down. Maybe we can make a first down before going in.
Well, I don't know, John. What do you think?
Normally that's a good indication. When that second flag is still erect or standing up, that means that...
They just dropped it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Never mind.
But that's not a bad indication either, is it?
Now, what happens, you know, when you get cramps? What kind of a night or evening is it when you get cramps?
It's when the muscle tightens up because of either hot or cold weather.
Okay.
John.
I'll accept that.
First down play. Wilhelm keeps it, and he will be dropped for a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
Of course, we were talking about the fact that these players This is a very tight-knit ball team. This is a very tight-knit ball team, and they help each other tremendously. They're all part of this game. They all want to be the winners that they know they can be, and they all want to be in the playoffs. And the fans and the parents are all behind them 100%. It's an exciting situation.
1 minute, 49 seconds left to go. Handoff inside the Motter. Dives inside the 10. He'll get about 4 yards on the play. It will be third down and about 8 yards to go. The Falcons have to get in the end zone. They cannot pick up another first down because, as we mentioned, they're just inside the 10. The original line of scrimmage was just inside the 10. So they have 2 downs to try and get it in the end zone. Reserve, of course, will do everything they can to stop the number 2 Fitch offense from getting in. And it's Mike Starry, I believe, or Keith Motter. I couldn't see whether it was 21 or 22. He was stopped as he got inside the 5, I think at about the 2 or 3 yard line. It will be fourth down for the Falcons.
Mike with a little bit of second effort there trying to spin out of a tackle. I think
we have
loose of the ball.
About 35 seconds left to go. It'll be fourth down and 3 for the Falcons. Falcon fans want more. Wilhelm sets his team with 22 seconds to go. Handoff. Number 32, touchdown. Taking it in for the score for the Falcons was a sophomore. Number 32, Derek Fletcher, took it the final 3, and there's a fight down in the end zone. This is really getting out of hand.
Well,
both benches empty. The coaches are trying to separate the players.
We said this earlier, guys, that it's just a matter of time, and
they tore the helmet right off Doug Wilhelm, and once he lost his helmet, he showed why he's quarterback. He got out of there. Fletcher went 3 yards for the touchdown. 18 seconds left to go.
if they were smart, they would just end this football game right now.
I'll tell you what, Coach Hartman is furious. And I think that's the end of the football game. It is. That's the end. And I don't think they're going to come across the field. They want to avoid any more trouble. The Falcons won't kick the extra point. The touchdown will end it. And it should be 23-0, although they never put the last touchdown on the board. I'm not sure what's going on here. Dave Hartman and Phil Annarella are shaking hands outside. Phil Annarella is a real class act, there's no doubt about it, and it's just a matter that the tempers on the part of the reserve players, all the frustration broke out there as the game ended. Some of the players are coming over and congratulating Coach Hartman. There's been a long rivalry between these two schools, and it's always been a real friendly one, and I'm sure that's the way everyone wants to keep it.
And, of course, you know, before we go off the air, I would really like to, again, pat the coaches on the back and commend them for the outstanding job they've done tonight. Again, we talked about, you know, coming off that big Mooney win and having to face McKinley next week. And, of course, the Raiders